Hey friends, Angela Glass from Veda Life here, and today we are talking about inspired actions. We are going to talk about what inspired actions actually are and 3 ways that you can create inspired actions. So, inspired actions are actions that we take that don't feel like work. There is work, they're work, right? But there's excitement behind it. Even when we think the work is going to suck, we are still excited about doing it because we know that something greater is going to come from this work. And it doesn't have to be a $1 million idea, right? Our inspired action might be going to the store at the worst time ever, like when it's really busy, because we want to get our friend this amazing gift, right? We had an idea of a gift we wanted to get our friend. It's an inspired action, and we're taking this work that might not be that easy, but we're going to feel really good from doing it, right? There's a light at the end of the tunnel or a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So it's stuff that we want to do, right? And it might also just be simply coming up with a great idea to simplify your life, to make things a lot easier. It could also just be you figure out where your car keys are if you misplace them and you can't find them. So inspired actions are actually cultivated though when we give our soul room to speak. And this can be done through yoga, through meditation, or any other type of contemplation, right? When we give ourselves a moment to sit and be without thinking about what we are going to do next. And I know this is definitely a practice. But I want to talk to you about why it is so important to take this time to meditate, to do yoga, to reflect, to find those inspired actions, right? Our soul wants to speak. So when it is not allowed to speak, when we are moving, we're shoving it down, we're not giving it room to speak, it's going to smack us upside the head, and it is going to cause us pain, right? It's going to put us in some type of situation that is going to cause suffering. And yes, suffering can happen for so many reasons, right? And not all of them are our choice, but a lot of times we create way more suffering in our lives just by being stubborn, right? It's by not giving ourselves the time to slow down and self-reflect and to connect to those inspired actions so we can move with more ease. So again, I want to use the example, you might have heard this before, but I keep using the example of, I opened a yoga studio and I thought that's what I wanted. And it was just like moving against the grain every day. Like I loved the studio and I loved the people, but it was just really hard. And I kept getting sick. A lot of things kept happening. The studio kept flooding. And that was my soul telling me that you need to stop. This is not where you're going. This is not where you need to be. You need to reroute. Another example I'm going to use is when I was in college, before I figured out I guess where I am today, and I took the time to reflect and practice yoga, I was so angry and bitter. I was depressed. I hated anyone that was happy. This is a whole story in its own, but long story short, I was creating my own suffering, right? I was creating pain for myself because I was choosing to stay where I was. I was choosing to let things happen to me rather than make the choice to move forward or create the life that I wanted. And eventually I found my way there, but it definitely took some time. So I'm hoping this short and sweet video helps inspire you to take inspired action so that you can create the life that you desire. So let's talk about 3 ways that you can tap into your inspired actions. Now, one is, I already covered this, is self-reflect. So if you've never done it before, it's going to feel a little weird, but the more you do it, the easier that it's going to get. I do it every morning, And so I journal and I meditate for 5 to 30 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling. And even me, I've been doing this for a very long time, but I still have days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do. I need to go do this, this, and this, and I want to get right to work. But I always make myself sit, and after just a couple of minutes, I feel so much better, and it gives me the opportunity to decide how I want my day to go, right? I take the time to think about what I want to achieve and not just check off my to-do list, but how I want to feel, right? What is the goal of the day to create more positive energy and more ease in my life? So that was one. Now, number two, our mind and our soul want to have inspired actions because it feels way better than being in a state of resistance all of the time, and it will try so hard to make that happen, right? Like I said, your soul's going to smack you upside the head if you are not listening. So one really easy way that you can tap into your inspired actions is on the toilet and in the shower. And the reason I bring this up is because for many of us, it is our only quiet time, right? It's one of the only times for some of us, like if you are a parent or, you're a caregiver, it's your only time to be in a space by yourself in stillness, usually away from your electronic devices. So there is, I forgot what the book is called, but it's by Swami Rama, and he says, when you can't find your car keys, go to the toilet, right? Because it's a place where we actually start to soften and relax. And a lot of times when we are able to do that with our bodies and our minds, right, then the light bulb goes off. That's when we get that inspired action. Now, that being said, I will be the first to admit I have scrolled Instagram while on the toilet, so don't do that. I've also seen now shower curtains that you can put your iPad in. Don't do that. Let your bathroom time be your time, right? If you can't carve out any more space to self-reflect, to contemplate, let your bathroom time be that time. Now, number three, also really easy. You might have to carve out a little time to do this, but it's journal, doodle, go for a walk. Start to use that non-logical part of your brain to be inspired, to tap into those creative and, again, inspired actions. Now, I want you to leave with hopefully a little more insight on what it takes to connect to those inspired actions, and hopefully you also see how important they are and what they can offer you in your life. Go ahead, try one of them, try all three of them. Feel free to let me know, what happens, what kind of awesome ideas that you come up with. And then if you are wanting a little more guidance, tapping into these inspired actions, you should definitely check out my Purposeful Ease Journal. This is a structured journal it's 100 pages, and it's really good at helping you hone in on the energy of the day, the month, and the year so that you can work with the rhythms of nature to make your tasks and your days a lot easier. If you need a little more guidance, right? If you're not so self-motivated, go ahead and reach out, and I would love to work with you one-on-one. If you are liking my videos and you want to see more of these, go ahead and hit subscribe. All right, until next time.